Hey everybody, and happy Monday to you. This on this May 11th, 2026. I have to look at this every single time to make sure I'm getting the right because I feel like after COVID that we've all we can't tell we have no concept of time anymore, and also too sometimes it's like we're already that far into the year. We're already that far into May, so I apologize for not knowing what the day is. I'm CJ Lemaster. I do know that, your lead investigative reporter and your host each and every day weekday at 1 p.m. for our digital news desk update. Thanks to everybody for watching on our Facebook and YouTube live streams, also on our OTT platforms. We really appreciate you making time for us today. We want to give you an update now on some stories we're following. Sheriff's deputies in Rankin County are investigating after two children were found abandoned in a neighborhood there. Someone called to report seeing the little girls around 6:45 yesterday evening on Azalea Court. That's in the Castlewood subdivision off of Lakeland Drive. Deputies responded and they found and interviewed the girls' parents later in the evening. The children are both under the age of 5. They're now in protective custody. We don't have any other details, but we are continuing to follow it. If you have any information, please reach out to the Rankin County Sheriff's Department. Police also investigating a drive-by shooting that left 3 people injured in Crystal Springs. Now, this happened just before 6 last night on Austin Circle, south of downtown. Police Chief Robert Thomas says officers found more than a dozen shell casings in the driveway of home. He says 3 people were shot, were taken to a hospital with injuries described as not life-threatening. No arrests have been made at this point. Well, let's see if we can. There we go.
Call the Crystal Springs PD 892-2121. Anybody in the public, if they know anything at all or hear anything on the streets, come tell the police department. And we have 4 or 5 concerned citizens now that are coming down to give us statements. And
that's the first shooting in Crystal Springs so far this year. We now know the identity of the man killed in Jackson Saturday evening in a homicide. The city is continuing to investigate. We're going to show you video here from the scene. That looks like the coroner's vehicle there. Jackson police were called to a home on Sunset Drive for an aggravated assault. Officers found 30-year-old Khalil Alexander unresponsive with multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene, but police say 25-year-old Mario Marley Jr. is in custody. This is an ongoing investigation, of course, and as we learn more details, we will bring them to you. And that means that we are now at 29 homicides for the year here in the city of Jackson. Our homicide tracker on WLBT.com showing that we are actually up 7% from this time last year. So we are above what we really should be for this time of year, even though in recent years we have seen declining numbers in the city's killings. Now, we can also tell you one positive here is that JPD's clearance rate still above the national average at 64.3%. I think the national average is a little over half. So, fortunately, detectives are solving the majority of these killings and, getting some sense of closure for families as those cases then make their way through the Hinds County justice system. But again, as it stands right now, we have 29 homicides for 2026, just 5 months and a week and a half into the year. Again, if you want to be able to look at all of this, all you have to do to go to our website is click on this little hamburger icon, and I'm going to move this so that you can actually see it. You just go to crime and then the Jackson homicides, and it loads this up. One thing I want to also mention too is you can find out how often this happens where you live by filling in your address there and looking it up. And also, if you want to report crimes, we have a way to do that right on the tracker. You just click that little button at the bottom. It gives you JPD's number. It gives you Capitol Police's number, Crime Stoppers, and it gives you a link to go to Crime Stoppers' website to be able to submit tips through there. So a lot of different ways you can help law enforcement solve these crimes, these killings that are thus far this year, 29 here in the capital city. Well, today, millions, or excuse me, I should say, this weekend, over the weekend, um, Mother's Day, Sunday, and obviously you had millions of families celebrating, mothers celebrating with their children. But for Latoya Mason, she's having to spend, or she had to spend this Mother's Day fighting for her son, who can no longer fight for himself. Three on Your Side's Darius McCormick has this week's Names Not Forgotten.
Last weekend, Jackson State University students walked across the stage. Zedrick Murray Warner Jr. should have been one of them.
My baby did not live to see his 21st birthday. He should have been graduating from Jackson State this past Saturday.
Zedrick was 20 years old, studying engineering at JSU. His twin sister went to Mississippi State. His older sister had moved to Dallas, but he stayed home for college. His mother, Latoya Mason, says their bond was unlike any other.
Pure joy. The light in the gloomiest skies.
Then, June 30th, 2024, Zedrick was shot once in the back of the head at Blossom Apartments in South Jackson. He was declared dead that night. Nearly 2 years later, no one has been charged, and Mason says the investigation was mishandled from the start. Every call from investigators felt like the same hollow promise.
I got tired of hearing that. I'm so sorry, Miss Mason, and I do understand. I have not lost a child. Well, you don't understand because you have not lost a child.
Mason says police never towed Zedrick's car from the scene. And worse, Mason didn't learn about a witness until a month into the investigation. And she didn't hear it from police. She found out through a victim's compensation claim denial from the Attorney General's office.
But if there was a witness, why haven't we gotten further along in the case?
The case was reassigned to a new detective. Still, Mason hit the same walls. So she started her own investigation, mapping entrances, exit points, and traffic camera locations at the apartment complex.
They took their feet off the gas and put the investigation on cruise control. And so here we are. They're cruising, and I'm exploding on the inside.
Jackson Police Chief Rochelle Brackney now meets one-on-one with families of unsolved cases. JPD tells Three on Your Side this is not a cold case, and they are actively working it. Mason says she is open to sitting down with the chief.
My only request would be before she sits down with me, if she sits down with me, is that she actually goes back and review everything.
This week, Zedrick's twin sister walks the stage without her brother by her side. And for another Mother's Day, Latoya Mason celebrates her daughters and grieves her son.
So Mother's Day for me is different. That is not to take away from the love that I have for my girls. But my son, he completed my universe.
Zedrick Murray Warner Jr., another name not forgotten.
He is light. He is love. He is joy.
Darius McCormick, Three on Your Side.
And again, if you have any other information, please contact JPD regarding that case. Also, things that we're following here in terms of the storm recovery from last week. It's now been 5 days since a tornado tore through Lincoln County, changing lives there. Instead of flowers and brunch, some moms in Lincoln County had to spend Mother's Day sorting through what's left of their homes. Several homes damaged when the tornadoes hit Wednesday night. The American Red Cross has set up shop in Brookhaven to hand out hot meals, water, and comfort kits with toothbrushes and soap. They're also working with groups like the United Cajun Navy to make sure everyone has a dry place to stay while the cleanup begins.
I couldn't even tell you how many clothes. I'm trying to start slowing down the collection of clothes because we have that much. It's a wonderful problem to have.
This is a close-knit community. People are going to come out and work together and help each other. We've got some donation area set up. We've got multiple calls about bringing stuff in, feeding people and all that.
The Red Cross and local officials say the shelters will stay open as long as they're needed and provide a 24-hour notice before closing. There's also quite a mess to clean up in Lamar County. The county's emergency management agency, preparing for the big task of debris removal there, is asking residents to keep safety and some other things in mind as they get their debris ready to be picked up.
We just want to get the message out to the volunteers and especially the homeowners and business owners to make sure they do that safely. Number one, watch for fire hydrants, of course, for gas meters, for water meters, under power lines, because we're going to be using overhead equipment to pick up that debris. So make sure that the debris is not under a power line when we do that.
He says he hopes to get started with debris removal sometime next week. We're also getting an update from MEMA on the extent of the storm's impact in Mississippi. Updated numbers on injuries and damage reports. The agency says 26 injuries have been reported so far, 22 in Lincoln County alone, 3 in Lamar County, 1 in Franklin County. The state health departments, the state health department will check in with hospitals today to get an update on the victims. MEMA says 8 roads remain impassable in Lincoln County because of debris. Damage assessments will be underway today. A couple of folks saying hi on this Monday. Linda Monroe saying good afternoon. Miss Linda, hope you're doing well. And Melissa Price saying good afternoon as well. Miss Melissa, I hope your day is wonderful and your week is good as well. We are just getting started on this work week. Our first alert weather team will be in here at 2:30 to give you an idea of what to expect for this week. And of course, our early evening newscast begin at 4 p.m. on air and online. For everyone here at WLBT News, I'm CJ LeMaster, your lead investigative reporter and your host for this digital news desk update each and every weekday. Thanks again for watching and making time for us in your busy schedule. We will see you back here tomorrow at 1.